Hello fashion people. So we're going to learning how to make this beautiful gown with an asymmetric neckline and an asymmetric waistline. It's a princess that bustier and it's a three-quarter length with a zipper at the back. Stay tuned as we create this design together. Hello fashion people. So this is our basic bodice block. I have a video on how to make this. It's up on the channel. You can check it out on my playlist. Basic bodice block. But this for this I'm using, and for the base of this is a shoulder princess dart. As you can see, it's a shoulder princess dart. I have done my underbust contouring here. That's why it's giving this look, and this is for our back. So this is the back basic body block as well. You can see it has a shoulder dart and a waist dart as well. So I'm going to be labeling it. This is our center back SCB. This is our side back SB. And this is our half length. This is our back half length. And this is our hip line. This is our hip line. So over to the front, I'm also going to be labeling the front as well. So I'm also going to be labeling the front. This is our SF, that's our side front. And this is my under bust UB. This is my half length. This is my bust point or nipple measurement. And call it CBP, through bust point. Let me extend it right that here too. Right. And this is our bust line or our armhole line or our armhole line. And this is what our chest line. So this is it for the labeling. And also this is our hip line. This is our hip line. As you can, this is a gown, and I have my knee length here, KL. So and then I'm going to complete the full length of the gown. So for the contouring, from the tightening at the knee length, I've also done that. So I took out 1.5 from this side and I sent it over to the hip line, and I can see a sharp point here. So I'm going to blend out this sharp edge like so, and this is our full length. I'm thinking of extending this full length a little bit more by at least 4 inches, but this is what you have. This is my full length FL. So to tighten it, you have to tighten it at the knee length. The reason for this is because if you tighten it at the full length, so imagine I tighten it at the full length now. I'm trying to extend this 1.5 inches all the way up to this knee, this hip line. Let me use a pencil to show you what it will look like. Hope you see. So it's going to be like this. You see how we our line passed through. It passed through like this. So you see that it's going to give more ease. It's going to give more allowance from the hip all the way to the full length if you are doing our tightening at the full length. But if you want to have that kind of couture, just as on the thumbnail, as what the model have on, have to do it on the knee length, and it will reduce this excess ease that is given around this hip area. You can see the excess ease. Whether I use the pen, so I don't know if you can see, or should I use a colored marker for that? I think I should use another colored marker for that. So what do you think? Let me use blue. So let me just redraw the line I drew earlier, assuming you're tightening from the full length all the way up. Hope it's now more visible. You can see this excess is given around this point, and that's I don't want it to give me this. Let's see if I'm working for someone that is, let me say, a someone that is edged or someone that wants it not to be tight on the body, just as it's on the model, I may work with this line, this blue line. But if not, I don't want this excess ease, so that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I did the whole contouring on the knee, because the knee is closer to this point and it's going to give you that cinched look, you get. And then from the knee length, it's not going to be a straight line going all the way to the full length, based on your preference, you get, based on the length of your preference. And this is it. So I tighten this by 1.5 inches. From here to here is 1.5 inches, as well as the same thing for the full length. And I connected it over to the hip, as I said earlier. And going over to the back, this is our back. Let me still let belly so that we'll not be confused. This is the knee length as well for the back, and this is our SB, this is our side back, and this is our center back. So for the back as well, I tightened here by 1 inch. I took 1 inch from here to here is 1 inch, and I connected it to the hip, and I blended up any pointy edge around that area. And for this side back, I went in by half of an inch. And but you can make yours to be more tight. I can do 1 inch, 1 inch at this side, and I don't know, you can, if you want to be more tighter, but for me this is fine. This is fine because this is on fold. Assuming we let this open, that means 1.5 on the front is only giving us 3 inches tightening for the front to get, and then half inches is 1 inch, giving us 4, and 1 inch here is 2 inches, giving us 6. So you can say I tighten the whole body by 6 inches if it's not on fold, and the unfold is by 3 inches. And for me this is perfect, this is fine. You can make yours more tighter if you be comfortable with it. And so this is what we have for our basic bodies. And now we are going to go over to the alteration for us to get that design we are working and trying to get. So I'm going to start first from my back pattern. I'm going to start from the back piece first. And for this back, I don't want it to have that. I want it to be darkless at the back. So I'm going to taking out this darts. So I'm going to alter. Let me use red marker for that. That's how I'm going to use red marker all through the major alteration. So I'm going to go over and take out 1 inch by the side so I can tighten it. So this is it. Up here I'll be taking out 1 inch. So I place my tape, I'm marking 1 inch, and I'll be connecting it up, all the way up, and I'll be blending it down to the hip line as well, just as shown. So now we are taking out our dart. So I'll try and pull it off so that to indicate we're not working with that again. It's already off the hook. Right? And then this is our new side back. So also I'll be taking out this dart that is on the shoulder as well. Remember that this dart is 5 inch. It's a 5 inches dart. So I'll be placing that and be marking my 5 inches. I mean to say 0.5 inches. I didn't mean 5 inches. This is 0.5 inches. So on each side is 0.25, 0.25, making it half of an inch. So here I'm taking out that half of an inch here, and I'll be blending it into the armhole curve as shown. So this is our new armhole line. So running all the way to this side. And so this is it for the back. This is it for the back. Then I'll be doing the alteration at the front now. So looking at that design, you find out that the neckline is asymmetric. It's an asymmetric neckline. One side has the same, maintain the same C-curved neckline, and for the other side it's kind of rectangular. So to get that, I'll be placing a piece of fabric underneath, and I'll be duplicating this using my tracing wheel. So I'm going to use my tracing wheel, and I'm going to transfer this pattern underneath. You get? In case you don't know what a tracing wheel is, so this is what a tracing wheel is. Just place the paper underneath and be like moving it around the line, just moving it on the line you drew earlier, and all the style lines here, it is going to be transferring at the back, after which I'm going to use my marker to make it more visible, and then we're going to continue with our style line. You get? But first of all, I think I should alter this shoulder dart first, because from the design is a princess dart design, so I need to move this. So I'm going to transform these dots to make it an armhole princess dart. And for the armhole princess dart, I'm going to get my master pattern, and I'm going to move it all the way to this side. So I'm going to connect it this way. I'm trying to transfer the darts from armhole princess darts, and I'm going to be blending out here any sharp edge here, taking out the pointy edges this way and this way. So these are armhole princess darts now. So I'm going to separate the upper torso from the lower torso. That means I'm going to be slashing it out on the waist area. That's our half length, so that I can have ease to work on this. I can slash this open and take out my shoulder dart to get, so that the dart can be transferred to the armhole. So I'm going to go ahead and slash it open now. Please, if you have any question because of this video, always drop in the comment section. I'll be there to attend to you. But first of all, let's trace this out. Like, let's trace it out on the other paper underneath, as I stated earlier. So I'm going to be transferring this to a paper underneath to make this to be able to achieve our asymmetric neckline. This is what it's looking like. I've gone ahead to transfer one side to this. I joined the paper at the center here, and I went ahead to transfer everything we have on this side to this side. And I'm going to go ahead and label it as well. So I'm going to be using my black marker to label it out so that everything will be uniform. So this is our true bust line. So this showing, you get, let me just write TBP, through bust point, our bust line. This is our chest line. Now this is that view armhole princess that line, and of course this is our half length. So now I'm going to be cutting out only the upper part, and I'll be leaving the lower part for later. So now this is the full body. So I've taped it down at the waist area, and I've labeled it my half length. This is my half length here. So that's our half length, and this is our hip line, and this is the knee line. So this is what we have when our body's block is full. This is our center back. This is our center front. Sorry, this is our CF, the center front. So let me just make the center front line visible. So this is our center front line all the way down. So I'll go ahead and alter the waist area. Then, looking at the design, found out that it went a little bit above the half length. When you look at it very well, so I'll be going up by the side. from this half length, I'll be going up by, let me say, half of an inch, or 0.75. I think half of an inch is fine. And I'm repeating the same thing for this other side as well. I went up by half of an inch here. So this way I'm going to be connecting it. And I found out that it's all, this one went down to the bust span line, and this one went all the way this way to the bust point line. So I'm going to indicate how deep I want it to be from the half length. May come down by 3 or 4 inches. So let me decide how deep I want it to be. So for the depth here, I'm going to be coming down by 3 inches, 3.5 inches. Because I'm going to be coming by down by. So I'm going to be indicating that. And then I'm going to be connecting to this half inches that we came down by the waist area to this point. And I'm going to make it to be a little bit curvy, just a little bit curvy. And then I'll connect it first to the straight line, and I'll use a red marker to indicate the style line that will be finally working with. Just avoid confusion. So this is it. I tell it to this line, and I'll be blending this. Let me connect it first with a straight line too. Now connecting it to this half length. I'm trying to create that bask effect that it has. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to, one thing with the back effect is that you need to make sure that when you're after cutting it, when you're stitching it, that the two sides are aligned. But this is our dart. We're going to be taking out this dart eventually. So we're going to be taking out this dart eventually. And to do that, I need to make sure that I balance it up. So that when I cut it out. So I'm going to be, let me use another color of marker to indicate that, to avoid confusion. So I'm going to be taking out this dart, like this whole dart. I'm going to be taking it out later. You get? So I'm going to be cutting through here and cutting through here. So this is where our basket is, you get? And I'm going to be doing the same thing for here. These are dart legs that I'm meant to trim off later on. So to balance it, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be using my hip line as a guide. So I'm going to be measuring from this dart leg. Okay, I'm going to be indicating from this dart leg, just, yeah, this dart leg, and this dart leg. So I'm going to be cutting out, and this is where our basket is. So I'm going to be measuring what I have on this dart leg to the hip line. I'm going to use the hip line as a guide, but that's the closest thing, or you can use the half length as a guide. I measure from here to here. Let me measure with using the hip line. So for this side I have 4.5 inches. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So for this side I have 4.5 inches, and for this side, now I'm going to be cutting out this dart leg. So for this dart leg I'm having 5.5 inches. So you see, when I cut this out, if I didn't balance it up, one will be longer than the other, and the design will not be aligning, that the fabric will not be looking good. Not talk of when you're done sewing the whole dress, you get the whole outfit. So this here is giving me 5.375, and what I have there is 4.5. So I'm going to be balancing that up. So to balance that up, you can decide to fold in the dart this way, can decide to do, there are two ways to that. You can decide to fold in the dart this way. Hope you are seeing what I'm doing. And you can blend in this into this like so. Let me just use my pencil, and you can use, place your ruler, make sure that the hip lines are equal before you draw it out, and you can decide to blend it inwards this way and join it so that these two lines can match up. Or since you have measured here to be 4.5 from here to the hip line, so you're going to come up the way to this side and measure that same 4.5. Measure 4.5, you're going to indicate it, and then you blend this into what we have here. So I want it to be a little bit curvier this way, so I'm going to curve it in now. I'm going to be curving, because let's draw it first before curving it in. I'm going to be curving it in with my red marker, but that's what we have started using to indicate what we're going to be using. We're going to be using eventually. So now when I sew this up here, it's already balanced to get. So the next thing here is for me to get the curve I want it to have, like to indicate that curve. To indicate the curve, and I'm going to be using this for it. So just a little bit of a curve. You can leave it straight if you want. I want it to be curvy. That is going to lay an emphasis on this. So this is what I have. This is the curve I'm working with now. So just as we did for this side, I'm going to be blending out this dart as well. So I have to measure. So from here to here is giving me 6.75, and from here is giving me 7.375. 7.375. So I need to blend this in. As I stated earlier, you can decide to fold it in and indicate your style line. Make sure that the hips are balanced. I decide to do it this way and blend it in like so. Connect it this way like so. Or you can go with this method that we eventually use, which is here is what, 6 points, and I'm going to be measuring out what I have here as well. So yeah, this is it. So I'm now going to blend it into this. Beautiful. So I'm going to use my red marker to redraw this, to make you know that this is still what you're working with, so that you know that you're still working with this. From this dark leg, I'm going to connect it to this. So we are working with this. Hope you can see. So you're working with this. Take out the dark leg. This dark leg, these two will align. And when we take out this dark leg, these two will align. And that is the bask effect we're trying to create here. So without this dark leg, it's just for me to, assuming I use the pattern that is dark less at the under, like on at the lower torso. All I need to do is to create this bask effect just this way. You get, and that is it. So this is what we have for this pattern, and then I'm going to be trimming this out now. So you go back to the neck, so that we can go back to altering this neck line design. And that is all, and I'll front bodice will be ready. So the thing there is that I'm going to be cutting out this upper torso, you get. So let me show you what I meant by trying to, when I take out this dark leg, this two is going to mash up, you get, because the down part of this gown is going to be dark leg. So I'm going to be cutting out this dark leg on the two side, this dart on the two side, and I will connect the two pieces together so that to see what we have, how beautiful it's going to turn out. So you see that even if you don't have your, even if you're not using a body that has that at the lower part, it will still give you the same thing that this one is going to give. So that is it. So as you can see, I've taken out the dart leg and I cut through this way, this to be able to cover this dart. And now I'm remaining the center, so I'm not going to be cutting it through. So I'm going to be cutting it through this way. Okay. This is the under the lower piece. So I'm going to keep this aside. I'm cutting this on fabric. And I'm going to go ahead and place my sewing allowance. I'm using half inch for this side and I'm using 1.5 inches on this side. I can use 1.25 on this side, either one. This is our side front, SF. This is our side front, and then this is the waist, and then this is our full length. So we're cutting, so I'm going to cut in like this. The right side of my fabric is going to be up, and then I'll be just place it this way, and I'll be cutting this out. So it's just going to be a one piece. So I'm not cutting on fold because it is an asymmetric design. And then I'm going to go over to the front. So this is it. Going to go back and cut through this so that I can fold in my shoulder darts and we will do our neck design. And then we will be done. And on one side I went in by 1 inches, by 1 inch. So I'm connecting the 1 inch like this to the 5 inches neck depth, and then I went ahead to make it a little bit curvy. I first of all connected it this way. So it's going to be like this, and then it's not looking well. I'm going to smoothen it in this way. I blend it in. So perfect. This is how it's going to be. This is beautiful now. So and for the depth, like how wide you want this thing to be, the African print to be, we're using 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 2 inches all the way. 2 inch, 2 inches all the way, and we will reconnect it back. And then for this side, I'm making it to be a width of 1.5. I noticed that this side is more shorter, that the African print side is more shorter. It's not as wide as the one this way. So I took out half inch and this is 1.5 inches. So I'm now going to connect it this way. So for this neckline, the anchor went all the way to the tip of the shoulder, to the tip before the sleeve, before the attachment of the sleeve. So it got to this point. So that means I'm going to be redrawing this. Let's do that with the blue marker. So I'm going to, from here, I'm going to be using 2.275. Yeah, I'm going to mark it this way. That means from here, it's now by 1.875, not up to 2 inches. And then I'm going to be connecting this straight down. Connecting this straight down, and I will blend this all the way here. I'll blend this through. I'll blend this through, and I'll blend this all the way to the armhole. So that's just the alteration there. So this is it, and then this one go all the way into the armhole. So this is it. But for this is not the neckline. For here, I'm going to be cutting this through. Then it's going to be a two separate piece, or you can make it to be one piece this way. I want it to be a two separate piece, so I'm going to be cutting through here. So I'm going to blend this in what like this, and this is our neckline. Let me rule out this. We are not working with this. I'm not working with this line. So this is our neckline. We also take out this to avoid confusion. Just rub it over. So you are now left with this. So you can be able to see this very well. Left with this. This is what you're working with. Like this. So now I'm going to be opening this up, and first of all, let me take out these dots. Won't be any mistake. This is going to be for African prints AP. It's be for African prints. You can decide to sew this. If you are cutting this neckline like this, when you add your seam allowance and you're done sewing stitching it down, when you get to this point, make sure you notch it very well so that it will lay flat. You get. But if you know that you can't do that, you either cut it through this way and have this to be a separate piece from this, or you can cut through this way and have it as a separate piece this way, so that when you join it back, so they can easily join it back this way or join it back like this way, either cutting through here or cutting through here. But I'll leave this for now. When I'm cutting some fabric, I'll decide how I want it to be. So I'll just leave that out for now. So this is our neck, and I'm going to be cutting this like this on paper, on my fabric, like the right side. I'm going to place it on the right side of the fabric like this. I'm going to cutting it out. So this is our back, our front. We are done with our front. So I'm now going to alter the back, and then everything is ready. So this is our back pattern, and you know that from this half length we went up by half inches for the front, like this half inches I went up by for the front to create this style line, but you want I went up by half inches as well on this side to create this style line. So we're going to come to the center, to the side back, and we're going to repeat the same half of an inch, so that when we cut our part, no, is African print and a plain material for the up, so that the two is going to align. So I'm going to do this, indicate, let me use a red marker for that. So I'm going to be indicating the half inches this way, and then I'm going to blend this up to the center, to the half length this way, so that no, when you're sewing now, the plain material is going to stop here, and so that when you are sewing the front and back, I want to match it by the side, the two will align. Like for the back, the ankara is going to start at the same point. That's what I'm trying to do here, so don't forget that. So I'm just going to blend it this way, and this is now our new half length. Hope you're following. Then the next thing is, I know that the shoulder is, the neck area is also asymmetric for the bar, because one side is 3 inches. You know that, for let me show you what I mean. If you cut this on fold like this, you find out that this side will not align because here will be big. So for this other side, you need it to be like this, the same width as this. So I will just indicate that, like, the from the tip of the shoulder, I'm just going to indicate that like this. So this is where the other part of my neck is going to start, and I'm just blend it in this way. I'm not trying to indicate it like this because for me, I'm going to be cutting my fabric like this, and when I'm done cutting it out, I will now alter the neckline for the back. Just the neckline, I'm just alter. So this one I'm going to alter it. I will just get the front, place it this way, and I'm going to be marking that like this. You're going to be seeing that though. I'm going to show you that when I'm doing it, and I will just blend it into the neck line just this way. So this is the way it's meant to be. You get for one side of the neck area, and for the other side we'll be using this. The other side is this area is going to mash up to this, and this side is going to mash up to this, and that is all for our back. So I'm going to be separating the upper torso from the lower torso, and we are done. So I'm going to continue to trim this out, so I'll just cut it. I know we took out the darts for the back. So this is our fifth line. So I'll be doing the boot couture now. Couture. I'll couture the hip side. So to couture the hip, to give the hip a lift, I'll be slashing this open. I'll be slashing this open, but not through. Just this way. And I'll get in a piece of paper. Be placing a piece of paper underneath this way. placing a piece of paper underneath, and you see, I'll make sure that the upper part is straight, and while I do my alteration at the lower part this way. This is the waist area, so I'm going to tape this down, make sure that it's straight first, sure that the upper part is straight. So I'm going to tape this upper part down as shown, and let me indicate the style line so that the initial line, this is the initial line, that's the hip line. Let me just make the hip line more visible. This is the hip line, and it was this way. So I'm going to open this up by 1 inch. I'll just indicate my 1 inch, and I'll place this way, and I will tape it down. It's that simple. So this is it, and then I'll try and blend in this area. I'll just bring my curvy part and I'll blend the tips together, just like this. So this is all. So I'll be cutting it out now. So this is it, and I'll cut out the excess showing this side. And this is all that we have our lower back. Now this is our front pattern, and the other is our front. If you have watched up to this point, please do it to give this video a thumbs up, like, comment and share. Hit the subscription button and turn the notification bell to get updated, or to get notified when I upload new videos, and to get notified when I'm going to be uploading the cutting and the sewing part of this video. Until then, see you and remain blessed. Bye bye.